Hello everybody, welcome to a new video of Baldur's Gate 3. In this episode, I'm gonna share one of my Transmutation Wizard multi-class builds. If you have watched my Transmutation Wizard video, I'm sure you already know it has a nice affinity with classes that rely on Wisdom, because it gets the ability Experimental Alchemy at level 2, which uses Wisdom to produce twice as many alchemy products. So here comes my multi-class build of Transmutation Wizard, Circle of the Spores Druid, and War Domain Cleric. All these three classes are full spellcasters, so we don't sacrifice spell slots by multi-classing this way. We still have the full set of spell slots all the way up to level 6. So this build I made is a Forest Inquisitor kind of setting that smashes the enemies really hard with an enchanted wood weapon and keeps dealing AoE damage around itself with conjured holy spirits. It has 2 levels of Transmutation Wizard, 2 levels of Circle of the Spores Druid, and 8 levels of War Domain Cleric. It relies on 2 core spells. One of them is the Druid cantrip Shillelagh. It's a bonus action that enchants your staff or club. You use your spellcasting ability for this weapon's attack rolls instead of your strength, and your weapon deals an extra bludgeoning damage equal to your Wisdom modifier, which is +3 for us in the beginning and eventually +5. And Shillelagh also makes your weapon magical. This means their attacks ignore enemies' resistance to their damage type. This ability lasts for 10 turns without concentration, so once it's activated, the enemies cannot stop it. The other core spell you rely on is the level 3 spell, Spirit Guardian. This spell keeps dealing either Radiance or Necrotic AoE damage to all the enemies around you for 10 turns, as long as you maintain concentration on it. And you can maximize the damage you deal by walking among the enemies to damage as many targets as possible. Besides, the Circle of the Spores Druid has the ability Symbiotic Entity, which is a special wild shape form. While in this form, you get some temporary hit points and deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage with your weapon. This form can last a whole day and only ends when you lose those temporary hit points. But this build is very tanky, so normally you don't need to worry about it ending. And even if you lose it, your wild shape charge recovers after every short rest. And we normally short rest after every battle, so basically you can use this ability in every battle. And War Domain Cleric gets extra weapon damage at level 8 from the ability Divine Strike Weapon. Once per turn, you can deal 1d8 extra damage of the same type of your weapon. And with the double alchemy products produced by Transmutation Wizard, you have a lot of weapon coatings. You can imbue your weapon with toxins to deal extra poison damage. With all these extra damages, every smash from that piece of wood in your hand is very strong. And War Domain Cleric has abilities that give you bonus on attack rolls when you need them, making it almost impossible for you to miss. And you also get an extra attack from War Domain Cleric. Aside from the offensive side, War Domain Cleric has proficiency in heavy armor and shields, and Wizard has nice protective reactions, so this build has a very nice survivability on the front line. Okay, now let's talk about the leveling strategy, when to level into each class, and what we can do in different stages of the game. We start this build with Druid class to get Shillelagh at the right beginning. We'll stick to Druid class from level 1 to level 2. When originally allocating ability scores, we give the major bonus to Wisdom and bring it all the way up to 17, which is the highest possible for now. We'll eventually get it to 20. This is to maximize our spell's DC, making it harder for enemies to save against them. Wisdom also makes you better at sensing danger and noticing hidden things, which is valuable when exploring. And it also makes you hard to control by the most powerful control spells in the game. And because we are a druid, we have a proficiency bonus for Wisdom saving throws, which is +2 for now, and will eventually become +4 at level 9. So our effective Wisdom is even higher than 20 when making saving throws. Then we give the minor bonus to Constitution and bring it up to 16. This is to increase our hit points and thus our survivability on the front line. It also increases our chance to maintain concentration when taking damage. Then we forego 2 Charisma to bring Intelligence to 13, we'll later bring it to 14. This is to make use of our proficiency in intelligence saving throws from the Druid class. We leave strength unchanged at 10, we can't sacrifice it. We don't use strength, but we are wearing heavy armor, which requires us to carry heavy loads, so we need at least 10 strength. We also leave dexterity unchanged at 10, because heavy armor forbids us to get AC from dexterity, so it's not that beneficial to raise dexterity above 10. For the Druid cantrips, first we choose Shillelagh, our default attack, then Produce Flame, giving you a ranged fire damage option. For the starting spells, we can prepare 4. First, we choose Long Strider, a must-have for any party. It increases the target's moving distance for the whole day without concentration, as long as the spell is still prepared. And it's a ritual spell, which means if you cast it outside of combat, it doesn't consume your spell slot. So every morning, you can cast it on yourself, on your whole party, and on all the creatures you summoned. Then, speak with animal to get information from animals. This is a ritual spell too, and it lasts the whole day without concentration. Then, Enhance Leap to give your party more freedom when exploring. This is a ritual spell too. Then, Goodberry, the most cost-effective healing spell in the early game. It creates 4 berries that each heal 1d4 hit points. You can use this at the beginning of the day and allocate them among the team. These berries can also be used as camp supplies. When allocating skill proficiencies, I recommend Insight and Medicine. Insight is useful in exploring and conversations. Medicine is the skill that the Transmutation Wizard needs to do alchemy. At level 2, we choose into the Circle of the Spores to get our special wild shape form and the extra necrotic damage. Circle of the Spores also gives you an ability called Halo of Spores. This is a proactive reaction that deals 1d4 necrotic damage to an enemy. It's nice before we have any wizard class, because we don't have better reactions to use. At this level, we can prepare 1 more spell. We choose Healing Word. This allows you to heal someone with a bonus action. It's nice in combat when you really need some healing. From level 3 to level 4, we'll be leveling up in the wizard class. For the wizard cantrips, we choose 3 utility cantrips to make us useful outside of combat. First, Mage Hand, to manipulate things from a distance. Then, Light, to illuminate things and see the surroundings more clearly. For this build, I recommend you cast it on your own weapon, because you always run to the front line to engage the enemies. This way, you can always illuminate the enemies and make it easier for your teammates to land their attacks. Then, Minor Illusion, to distract people. For the wizard spells, we can learn a lot, but we only need a few. First, Shield, another must-have for any wizard build. It's a reaction that gives you another 5 AC when you need it, making you harder to be hit. Remember to untoggle your opportunity attack in case you waste your reactions on that and can't cast your protection reactions. This is also where you should stop using Halo of Spores. It's better to use your reactions for protection. Then, Find Familiar, which allows you to summon a creature into your party to help with combat and exploring. Once summoned, they'll be there until their hit points get reduced to 0. It's a ritual spell, and summon spells don't need to stay prepared once the creature is summoned. Then, Feather Fall. Combined with Enhanced Leap, it gives your party even more freedom when exploring the map. Then, Disguise Self, which allows you to assume a false identity. This is useful in places where a certain race has benefits. It's also useful when you use the spell Speak with Dead. Usually, corpses don't talk to those who kill them, but if you disguise yourself, you can talk to them even if it's you who killed them. These are the 4 spells we need from the wizard class. There is no need to learn anything offensive, because spells from the wizard class use intelligence as a spellcasting ability, not wisdom. At level 4, we choose into the transmutation school. Now you can start producing double products when doing alchemy. You need to succeed the medicine check to produce double products, but we can always save and load, and it will always be a success for us. Starting from level 5, we'll stick to the cleric class. At level 5, we choose into the war domain, and get our first domain ability, War Priest. When you make an unarmed or weapon attack, you can spend a War Priest charge to make an additional attack as a bonus action. For now, you have 3 charges each day. It will become 4 charges at Cleric level 5 and 5 charges at Cleric level 8. At this level, we also get the domain spell Divine Favor. It makes your weapon deal an extra 1d4 radiance damage. The effect lasts for 3 turns, as long as you still maintain concentration on it. This will be the spell we concentrate on before we get Spirit Guardian. For the Cleric cantrips, first we choose Guidance. I think it's a must-have for any Cleric build. It gives the target a 1d4 bonus to all ability checks, making your exploring and conversations much easier. Then Sacred Flame, a ranged radiance damage cantrip. Then Thaumaturgy, which gives you advantage in intimidation and performance ability checks. For the starting Cleric spells, we can prepare a lot of spells, but I recommend not to prepare any of them. It's because you either cannot afford the spell slot or cannot afford concentration, so save them for Shield, Divine Favor, and Guidance. Level 1 is also when Clerics choose their deities. You get exclusive interactions in the story for the deity you chose. Maybe there is more to that, but I'm not sure yet. Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't limit your choice of deity. You can choose any deity, regardless of your domain. But in classic D&D 5e rules, a cleric can only choose a domain that their deity has. The war domain deities available in this game are Bahamut, the dragon god of justice. His alignment is lawful good. Corellon Larethian, this name always burns my tongue. He is the elf god of art and magic, and the creator of the elves. His alignment is chaotic good. Grumsh, the One Knight. He is the orcs' patron deity, a god of war, conquest, and victory at all costs. His alignment is chaotic evil. Loth, the matriarch of the Drow pantheon. Her alignment is chaotic evil too. Tempest, the lord of battles. He is the embodiment of honorable combat and condemns needless bloodlust. His alignment is completely neutral. Tyr, the blind god. He is the god of law and justice. His alignment is lawful good. At level 6, we get our Channel Divinity ability, Guided Strike. This is a reaction that gives you a +10 bonus to attack roll. In the early game, you only have 1 charge of Channel Divinity, but it recharges every short rest, and we normally short rest after every battle, so basically you can use this once in every battle. And when you reach level 6 of Cleric, you'll have 2 charges of Channel Divinity. At level 7, we can prepare a nice Cleric spell, Aid. It increases the maximum hit points of your team by 5, boosting everyone's survivability, and you can upcast it to get more. For every level increased, everyone gets 5 more hit points. This effect lasts a whole day without concentration. At level 8, we get our first feat. Here we choose Ability Improvement and increase our Wisdom to 18 and our Intelligence to 14, getting another +1 modifier for both of them. At level 9, we get our second core spell, Spirit Guardian, from the War Domain. Now we can start dealing Radiance or Necrotic AoE damage, and you can upcast this spell to increase its damage. I always reserve the highest 3 spell slots for this. At level 10, we get our second domain ability, War God's Blessing. This is a reaction to grant an ally a +10 bonus to an attack roll. This also consumes 1 charge of your Channel Divinity. At level 11, we can prepare the spell Freedom of Movement. If you cast this on someone, they can't be slowed down by difficult terrains, and they can't be magically paralyzed or restrained. I recommend casting this on yourself so that it's easier for you to walk among enemies and damage them with Spirit Guardian. At level 12, we can choose our second feat. Here, we choose Ability Improvement and raise our Wisdom to 20, the cap, maximizing our spellcasting ability. At this level, we also get our third domain ability, Divine Strike. Now, once each turn, we can increase our weapon attack damage for 1d8. Okay, we have talked about how good this build is. Now let's talk about its weaknesses. One weakness of this build is that you can't carry a lot of things. You are wearing heavy armor and you only have 10 strength, so you need to carefully plan what this character carries. Another weakness is that you are not very good against the enemy's DC damage spells. You are very good at dodging attacks, but if it's a DC damage spell, you still take half the damage even if you succeed the saving throw, and you don't have any ability to counter spells, so you may want to kill the enemy mages first. And finally, your ability improvements come later than most other builds, but fortunately you have the War Domain's abilities to make up to that a little. And that is everything about this Forest's Inquisitor build. Hope you like it, and if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.